Good afternoon, students. Start giving attendance. I have activated the form. I haven't started yet. I'm waiting for more. Almost 62 people is there, but you are like 75. I'm waiting for a few more people, and then we will start. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
first tell me one thing that whether Nariman madam or Venkas have discussed about the term paper with you regarding term paper.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No,
No.
ma'am.
Okay. So this is the last class, right? After that, you don't have class.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let me finish first my the topic today. I already have shown you the last year video regarding this. So first we will read this one and then I will talk about the term paper or whatever you want to ask regarding that 10 marks. Okay. So if you have queries, I don't have clarification about all these things very clearly because this is also my first semester I'm teaching. So I'll be giving you an overview of all these things. Ask Priyanka sir or Naiman madam in details if you have any queries on that. Okay. So let's start today. We almost have 63 and you all have given attendance.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So start giving attendance and I also have a query for all of you that the mobile number you are providing, if I call you, you will all be available on that number, right? That number is not of your parents.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, this number, okay, actually this number is very much important. During the MCQ exam, you have been from 13th to 20th January. So at that time, if someone is not available, I need to call. So don't provide your parents' phone number. Okay. So, it is mandatory to give all of you to provide your own phone number so that during the exam I can contact with all of you. And who is the CR of this class? Samruddhi, right? Who is the CR?
Samruddhi
Shiva
and
ma'am, Samruddhi.
Shruti. You are class CR.
no ma'am, Samruddhi and Shivam.
Samruddhi. Okay. So is Samruddhi available?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I am. I have shared a form. I think everybody is not present in today's class because I already only I got like 42 or maybe I will be getting 65 attendance. So I will be sharing you an Excel file. Incorporate the name of the students who are present in your class but not available today. Their email ID, their roll number, and their phone number. Okay. So I will
Okay,
be
ma'am.
sharing that as an Excel file in this group and ask your friends to incorporate their name and their details and please recheck and then send back to me. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. So let's start today. So today we will be talking about boiler trouble and let me share the full screen. Just a minute. I'm going to record this session. Start. Sharing the full. Okay. So my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I am also audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So today we will be talking about boiler problems. Now, what happens in a boiler? The water comes inside, and in the boiler, what happens? There is a boiling of water, and the water is converted into steam in a boiler, right? So, in that process, there is a continuous, I mean, evaporation of water. So the volume of water is decreasing, so what is happening? There is a continuous flow of water just to maintain the water level of the boiler. So that water is termed as a boiler feed water. Okay. So it is very much important to provide a soft water to the as a boiler feed. Now, question is why? If we are not providing a suitable soft water as a boiler feed water, then there will be several problems occurring due to the hardness of water and the presence of several other impurities. And so this water, these troubles caused by the hard water is called as a boiler trouble. And this hard water produces several problems. Now there are some standard limit of this, this uh, analytes or the particles which is present inside the water. So that is for hard water for the boiler feed that is already reported. So we need to think about so the industries while I mean inserting that hard water, they need to check often what is the condition of the water. So if the water is not suitable for boiler, so there are several type of treatments. Before incorporating the water inside the boiler, that will be terming as external treatment, and there is another process which is called internal treatment, which is done inside the inside the water of the boiler, and by addition of several other chemicals. So that is termed as a internal treatment. Now, as an external treatment, so there are already we have read regarding the screening and sedimentation, percolation, population, and the different type of geolite process, lime soda process. These are the process which is done before the water is going inside the boiler, right? So these are the external problems. Now, these are the problems which can cause the problems in boiler. One is scale and sludge formation, another is priming, foaming, carryover, caustic embrittlement, and boiler corrosion. So today we will read all the six. And as far as I remember, in the last class I have shown you a YouTube video regarding all these things, but it was a very small video, like I think 7 minutes. And today we will be reading all these things elaborately, and we will be finishing that because before the MCQ exam, we just have only one class, 12th of January. In that class, I will be teaching alkalinity, and clearing all of your doubts. And and in the next class, probably you will have the MCQ test or something. I
Ma'am,
don't
your
know.
voice is not clear, ma'am.
Not clear?
It is not at all clear.
Actually, today I'm taking class from office because I have some work. So the fact is that I am talking about the boiler problems. These are the boiler problems, and in the last class we already have seen a video. Is it okay now? Can you? I am audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. You're clear.
Okay, so in the last class we have seen that video, and today we will be discussing this in little more with respect to the video. So these are the problems which is caused, which can cause the boiler, I mean corrosion, or boiler different type of the hampering of the boiler inner walls and its systems. So let's go. So the first important parameter is that when we are producing a boiler feed water, that boiler feed water should be free from all the hardness. Otherwise, it will be producing sludge and scale. That's why I told that it is important that the boiler feed water should be soft in nature. I told earlier. Now the second is that the second problem is can be caused by the oils and the greases, which can be generating foaming and priming. Third is a generation of different type of third is a generation of caustic like NaOH and uh, other suspended impurities which will be causing the caustic embrittlement, and the different type of dissolved gases and minerals like oxygen, carbon dioxide, and different type of chloride salt can produce boiler corrosion. So these are the parameters. Like I told earlier, that there are several parameters which is considered before the boiler is feeded in, before the water is feeded to the boiler. Otherwise, that will be causing a boiler trouble. So first, we will be talking about scale and sludge production. So what is scale? So this is considered, this one is a boiler. This one is a picture of a boiler. And this one, the outer part, this is the outer part of the boiler. And this is inside the boiler wall. Now what happens when we are, what we did, we are incorporating or inserting water inside the boiler. And then what happens? Then the heat is generated, and then at the time, then the boiler produces the steam. Now the boiler capacity is considered as the amount of water which is the amount of water capable of the boiler capable of carrying the amount of water that is termed as a boiler capacity. So let us consider that there is a boiler which is like efficient, and it contains like 10 liter of water. Now we are heating that. So the if the water is not soft water, then there will be severe impurities and several different type of precipitates like magnesium carbonate, calcium carbonate, magnesium hydroxide, all these things. And when these precipitates are soft and loose and slimy, then they are termed as a sludges. They will be floating inside the boiler water. But when the boiler, these precipitates will be sticky and it will be hard and it can stick on the boiler wall, then they will be termed as scale. So sludge will be floating and scale will be deposited on the surface of the boiler wall. Now, the like the salts like magnesium chloride, magnesium carbonate, calcium carbonate, magnesium sulfate, all these things are hardness producing salts will be causing this issue. So, as far in the first slide, I already told that so it is very much important to produce a soft water inside the boiler. Now, what is the disadvantage? Now, think about that. If that is a boiler wall is made by metal like iron. Now, if the sludge is produced on the surface of the boiler wall, that will be that the sludges are like poor conductors. So, first of all, that you need to give more heat for achieving the targeted heat you want. Second of that, second point is that the efficiency of the boiler will be decreasing, and the pipes and the connections where the water is going inside that can be choked. So, what is the prevention? The prevention is like we can use soft water before we can treat the water and make it soft before we are feeding the water to the boiler. And second, another option is a blow down operation. Blow down operation is just nothing. It's like when the when the water is after the steam production, the rest amount of water that is present in the boiler that will be thrown out with the fresh water. That is the blow down operation. Now, second point is the scale production. Like the difference between the sludge and the scale is the sludge are floating and they are soft, and the scales are hard and they can stick in the boiler wall firmly. So just think about that, and so they will be causing more problem with respect to sludges, and the the removal process will be also very difficult. So the thing is that why the scale forms inside the boiler wall, because this the formation of the precipitates from different type of calcium and magnesium salts. And what will happen now, this scale will be insulator of heat, and so what will be happening that to reach the targeted heat, more heat will be required, or more heat will be required. And what will happen, then the boiler will not reach up to its the targeted heat. Then the continuous, it will try to heat continuously, and suddenly if there is a crack in the scale, then the cold water which is not sufficiently heated will come to the contact of the metal wall and will immediately form, because the wall is extremely heated. Then in the presence of that cold water, the wall will produce immediately the steam. So the volume will be increased abruptly and very quickly. So the sudden change in volume will cause the explosion of the boiler. Okay, so that's why this is very much important to remove all these scale and the sludges from this the boiler water. Now, what is the prevention? Prevention is like almost same. So we need to think about removing the hardness and removing the hardness of water. Now, what is it saying? The deposition of calcium sulfate water decreases. Okay. So the thing is that the way the water is in the liquid in the low temperature, then the salts are more soluble into it. And when what happens when the water get heated, the dissolved oxygen and carbon dioxide get evaporated, and with continuous steam production, the concentration of the salts present in the water get increased, so they finally they get precipitated. And similarly, this is for the calcium sulfate or calcium carbonate, calcium bicarbonate, all these things. And similarly, like dissolved magnesium salts also can, like magnesium fluoride in presence of water, can be dissociated and or hydrolyzed and can be producing magnesium hydroxide, which can form like different type of sludges inside the boiler. And also, if there is a presence of silica, Then silica can react with calcium and magnesium and can produce calcium silicate and magnesium silicate, and they can, and they can, I mean, create. They can also create the such sludge or the scale formation. Now I told already. So the what happened actually? So this.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I think screen is paused as slides are not available in the screen which you are
Is it
seeing.
not available?
No, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Now it's available.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Now it's
100 Mbps.
Okay, so actually I was talking, actually I'm reading the screen, maybe, okay. Now it is okay, na?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's okay.
Okay, okay. So I already told, like, this sludge and the scale, if they are deposited on the boiler wall, they can create, they are creating, like, they can, the boiler can be, I mean, there can be explosion. The efficiency will be decreases because this large and scale all are insulating the heat, and there will be wastage of fuel, and similarly the safety of the boiler and also the safety of the people who are working near the boiler is much lowered. So we need to think about that before the using of the hard water inside the boiler. Besides that, there are other processes for prevention of the, I mean, this type of prevention for the sludge and the scale formation. Like I told earlier, there is external treatment like lime soda, zeolite, and whatever. External treatment is that when the water is treated before the water is going inside the boiler, and the internal treatment is that when the water present inside the boiler, that is treated. So basically, internal treatment is done by addition of several type of chemicals. So like carbonate conditioning, phosphate conditioning, and Caricon conditioning. And the mechanical and hard scrubbing method, I think we all know, because when we are boiling water in any utensil in our home, we know that there is a sedimentation, right? So we clean it with Scotch Brite. So that is a method of scrubbing method. And let's go to the carbonate conditioning method. Now, what is the carbonate conditioning method? That is, the hardness producing salts are calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate, this type of things. Now, the solubility of a salt is like, let us consider calcium carbonate. So in solution, the calcium carbonate will be present as calcium 2 plus and carbonate 2 minus. So if we add more carbonate to the system, so there will be equilibrium. When the solution is saturated, then calcium 2 plus carbonate 2 minus, this will be in equilibrium with calcium carbonate salt, right? So think about this equation. Now if we externally add more carbonate to the system, then as per the Last-Letelier's principle, the point of equilibrium will be shifted toward right hand side, right? And the carbonate will be trapping more calcium ion, and there will be precipitation of more calcium ion. So more precipitation of more calcium carbonate, right? Similarly, this is called the carbonate conditioning. Similarly, what is phosphate conditioning? Phosphate conditioning is that when you add more phosphate to the like more phosphate, like sodium orthophosphate or sodium pyrophosphate, sodium metaphosphate to the solution containing the carbonates, calcium carbonate, then these phosphates will be reacting with the calcium carbonate and will be producing a calcium phosphate and sodium bicarbonate. But this is not a good method because at that time the calcium phosphate is also precipitated, but you will be producing sodium bicarbonate. So this generation of bicarbonate in the system can also form other difficulties, which in the first slide we have seen that dissolved gases form difficulties in boiler. So it's better to, people are using this method, and there is also another method which is called Calgon condition. So Calgon is like a salt of sodium hexametaphosphate, and on reacting with calcium, they forms a soluble salt of calcium, which can be blown off or can be they can, so that will not at least produce the I mean the sludge or the scale. And another thing is like that on treating the with HCl, the calcium carbonate can react and produce calcium chloride. But the thing is that in that case we need to know the what extent of HCl we need to add. That extent should be calculated. Otherwise, the pH of the water will be changed. And similarly, EDTA is used for, as far I remember, in the last class we will be talking about trapping calcium and magnesium ion with EDTA and EBT indicator, right? So it is a complexometric process, and the EDTA can be, trap or bind with the calcium or magnesium salt. So this is also a procedure for removing calcium and magnesium ions. So this is the difference between the sludge and the scales. So basically the sludge are glues and the scales are hard deposits, and the sludges can be easily removed while scales are not. These are the salts which produce sludge and scales, and the sludge formed at comparatively lower portion of the boiler, and scales formed like heated portion. And also the fact is that where the boiler, the where the I mean uh, the wall of the boiler is little stressed, and scales are more dangerous because they are difficult to remove, and the sludge a little less dangerous, and as they can be easily removed. Now, the second one is the boiler corrosion, which can be caused by dissolved oxygen and carbon dioxide and dissolved minerals. Like I was talking about, on addition of sodium phosphate, we will be generating sodium bicarbonate. So, sodium bicarbonate on by heating will be producing carbon dioxide, right? So it is not. So this can cause another problem. So what is the issue of that? Like, let me see. Okay. So the different type of gases can cause this boiler corrosion, like dissolved oxygen. If there is a dissolved oxygen in the boiler water, then what will happen? This dissolved oxygen will be reacting with the iron of the boiler and will be producing iron hydroxide, ferric hydroxide, and this ferric hydroxide later will be producing Fe3O4. So the percentage of the percentage of the the pressure of the boiler. Look, in low pressure boiler, the dissolved oxygen amount should be less than 0.5 ppm, and in the high pressure boiler that should be 0.1 ppm. And now how the oxygen goes enters inside the boiler, because when we are trying to maintain the level of the water in boiler as a boiler feed water, then we are incorporating or entering water from outside continuously. So that is the source of the dissolved oxygen in boiler. And these now let me see one thing. Now what is the prevention to remove the dissolved oxygen in boiler? First treatment is by the chemical treatment. Chemical treatment is that on addition of sodium sulfite, the dissolved oxygen can be reacting with that and can produce sodium sulfate. And some people also produce iron sulfate. I also add iron sulfate to react this, oxygen, and to produce iron hydroxide. But that will be causing several other, problems. And another thing is that, like the addition. Let me see this one. The method is very because increase results or concentration. Okay, so if we are adding more salts inside the water, the boiler water, they may introduce other problems like foaming, priming, etc. And this we will be talking later. And the sodium sulfate can also decompose into sulfuric hydrogen sulfide and sulfur dioxide. So they will be also causing different issues. And now there is another method which is called the mechanical deaeration process. Now this is the instrument, see here. Now what happens here? The boiler so this is the deaeration process where water is going inside. Okay, and now there is different type of plates, and there is a vacuum pump connected to it. So what we'll be doing, what will be the process here? And see, there is also a jacket which is from where the the high temperature water is passed. So what will be happening at the high temperature, low pressure and high surface area condition, the dissolved oxygen gas inside the water will be removed. And finally, after passing through these channels, we will be getting a deaerated water. So this is the mechanical process how the deaeration is done. And beside that, hydrogen is also added to react with water. And I think this is the best process because, but this should be in the calculated amount, because if the production of nitrogen is more, then there will be volume expansion that can also create a explosion in the boiler. So let's see another problem which can cause also the corrosion, that is by dissolved carbon dioxide. Now, from where the dissolved carbon dioxide come in water? Now, the fact is that every animals, plants, whatever present in the water, they are doing the respiration, right? The phytoplankton, zooplankton, the fishes, and everything. So, natural water should contain carbon dioxide. So that is very normal. So the fact is that when we are using the water as a boiler feed, that water must be removed of carbon dioxide. Otherwise, this carbon dioxide, the carbon dioxide present in the water will be causing several issues. Like let us consider this magnesium carbonate. This magnesium bicarbonate is causing the temporary hardness. We already read about that. And now when it is heated, it will be producing magnesium carbonate, either sludge or the scale formation, and also producing carbon dioxide. Now the produced carbon dioxide will be reacting with the water and will be generating carbonic acid. Now carbonic acid, as that is an acid, so the pH will be lowered. So that at low pH, that carbonic acid might react with the boiler wall, which is made by iron. So the pH of the water will be changed, and this when they will be when they will be reacting with the boiler wall, that is termed as a pitting, or we can term also the corrosion. So, like the mechanical deaeration, which was implemented for removal of dissolved oxygen, can also be employed for removal of carbon dioxide. Similarly, like filtering the water through limestone, the carbon dioxide can be absorbed, but this by the end will be increasing the hardness. So we have to go for another process for removal of that. But beside that, there is another process which is called the on addition of ammonium hydroxide. This carbon dioxide can be trapped and can produce ammonium carbonate. And there is another problem which can create boiler corrosion. That is the generation of magnesium chloride or different other salts. Like normally, the natural water doesn't contain these mineral acids, and the pH of the natural water is alkaline. Now, but in the industrial area or in the mining area, this as the as the waste, these industries are producing several type of salts. So this magnesium chloride can react with the water and can hydrolyze and can produce magnesium hydroxide. So this magnesium hydroxide again will be causing these sludges and all these things. And beside that, there will be generation of acid like HCl. Now, if the pH of the acid is the process the limit of the standard boiler water, then they will be reacting with the boiler wall, which is made by iron. And and this iron, when reacting with this acid, might produce rust in the system, so which finally affect the longevity of the boiler. Okay. Now, and so what they are saying, this is the same thing. So the boiler water is generally alkaline. Okay. Amount of water. Okay. So the thing is that, so before we are giving the boiler water, we are giving the feed water to boiler, we need to neutralize this acid, and we need to do these steps. So for longevity and the maintenance of the boiler. Now there is another thing which is called caustic embrittlement. Now, from the caustic embrittlement term, what you understand? Caustic means NaOH. So, the fact is that if there is NaOH in the system, that might be affecting the boiler. Now, when the boiler is, so as I told earlier, like when we are using different type of processes as an external treatment before the water is inserting in the the boiler, so there might be addition of sodium carbonate, like I told earlier, like in the lime soda process. Okay, so in the lime soda process, sodium carbonate is added for the treatment of water. So, if we don't, neutralize all this sodium carbonate, then what will happen? What will happen? There will be excess of sodium carbonate in the system, and on the high heat, the sodium carbonate will be decomposed, and we will be producing carbon dioxide and NaOH. Now, this NaOH was formed, NaOH which was formed to make the boil, which will be forming the the NaOH which is formed, that will be causing that will be affecting the boiler wall. So what will be happening? This NaOH, if the concentration of NaOH in some part, like the stressed part of the boiler, like the vanes, joints, and if there is even a minute hair crack, the concentration of NaOH, if there is more, then that NaOH will be reacting with the boiler wall and will be producing sodium ferrite. Now that sodium ferrite, what will be then that sodium ferrite will be affecting the boiler material. Now let's see, like in the boiler wall, if there will be a formation of a concentration cell like iron, concentrated NaOH, dilute NaOH, and iron at the plane surface, and then iron will be reacting with the NaOH. That is the main thing, and then that iron will be producing Na2FeO2. That is the sodium ferrite, and sodium ferrite again on reacting with water will be producing rust to the boiler wall. So the main issue is that the sodium hydroxide will be reacting with the boiler wall and will be producing the rust. So I understand this is little boring, but anyway, you have to read. So this is the example of caustic embrittlement, and so beside using sodium carbonate for soft water, sodium as for producing the soft water, there are other processes to use sodium phosphate, like I told earlier, sodium phosphate or calgon for softening of the water can also be done. So this is an image showing how the caustic embrittlement is done. And so this is, and beside sodium phosphate addition, tannin, lignin, and also sodium sulfate can be added to the boiler water, which can prevent the infiltration of caustic soda in the hair crack areas, because these materials actually blocks the hair cracks, so the caustic embrittlement can be stopped. So next we will be talking about priming. So what is priming? Now let us consider a boiler, and we have feed 80% of the boiler, and some part is actually vacuum. So there can be generation of the steam. Now above the top of the boiler, there is a superheater, which is or the turbine, which is actually passing the steam from the boiler. Now, if when we are boiling the water, now if that steam contains a few small droplets of water, then that steam is termed as a wet steam. Okay, and now that steam can cause different type of problems with the boiler wall and the boiler engines or machine. So what will be happening that, so how this why this priming is even caused? Because the if there is a formation of vegetable growth or algae, and there is a defaulty design of boiler, if the water what we are utilizing, like the standard protocol, maybe boiler is to fill the water is like 80%, but it was filled up to 90%. So what will be happening when when the water will be boiling? So with the steam, maybe the few droplets of water will be going to the machine, and that will affect the superheater, and the efficiency of the superheaters or the blades of the turbine, those will be affected. Okay, now how these things can be minimized? The things can be minimized by maintaining a low water level, rapid and the sudden change in the temperature of the boiler, a proper design, and minimizing and only using the soft water. Now, beside the priming, there is another process which is also called as foaming. Now, foaming is basically, so from foam, what we understand, foaming is like a formation of bubble on the surface of the water. And why this foaming is formed? Because the materials which actually decreases the surface tension of water. So what will be happening? There will be formation of more bubbles on the surface of water, and if the bubble doesn't collapse before reaching the outlet where the steam is coming out, then maybe this with this foaming, the small droplets can be going with the stream, and small droplets and also the dissolved salts and impurities can be going with the steam, and that might be affecting the engine or the superheater. And then the superheater will be little bit cold, and it will be not be reaching the extent of heat it need to generate, and it might corrode, and its efficiency will also lose, and we need to produce more wastage of fuel. All these things are associated with things. And even at the time of foaming, if there is a product generation of, with the time of foaming, if the salts can reach up to the blades of the turbine and everything, then even a specific, deposition of small salt in the turbine blades can cause blast. So these are the issues. So we need to think. So before the foaming must be prevented, and the prevention is like by adding different type of coagulation, and different by the removal. By the removal of foaming and stabilize by the foaming agents must be removed, and the concentrate and the oil and the grease what is present there, that must be extracted, and anti-foaming agents like castor oil is also added for to prevent the foaming. Now, the what is carryover? Now, I already talked about that what is called weight steam. Now, carryover is mainly due to the priming and foaming, and we can consider both of them together. Now, carryover is the passing of the dissolved salts or the small solid, or maybe the small droplets to the superheater or the turbine blade. What I just discussing earlier, that these things will be reaching to the superheater or the turbine blades and will decrease the efficiency of the boiler, thereby their lifetime will be decreased, and the amount of heat you actually need to produce, they will be producing less, and their efficiency will be less. So this is actually the carryover, which can be which is actually basically priming and foaming. And so now let's, so okay, so these are the boiler trouble, and these things we so, I think okay, so these are the boiler. So this is the boiler trouble. I think you all understand, because these are only the theoretical part. Now I will be. If you have any query, you can ask me. Do you have any query regarding this? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do you have any query
Yes, ma'am.
regarding this?
No, ma'am.
theoretical parts, and I think in the last class we already have seen a video. Do you remember regarding this? I was sharing a video regarding boiler trouble. Just check the boiler trouble video in YouTube, or otherwise, if you need that, I will be sharing that later. Okay. So if you have any
Sure,
query,
ma'am.
okay. So and if you have any query, you can ask. And so basically, these are the things. These are basically I think you all understand. And now I will be discussing regarding the term paper. The term paper is like it's a 10 marks project, or you can say like you need to write a proposal, or like a project like as for example the effect of air pollutants and the effect of air pollution, the effect of noise pollution, all these things, or maybe the hydrological circuit, the water resources we are talking about. So, or maybe, any topic you can choose for your term paper, and then you need to download several papers or the journals, and from that you will be extracting the data and reading the introduction and everything, and then maybe you will be writing like a project. It will be 10 to 12 pages of report, including the introduction, title, and result discussion, conclusion, and everything, and also citation. And then you need to submit that probably in the month of May or April. It is written in your calendar. Check that. So I will be asking. So discuss among yourself. Like you are like 75 students. So I can. Depending on your choice, I can divide you in four groups, and then you people will be discussing that in which topic. Like yes, no one. The first point is that among the 75 students, the topic, the title of the topic will not be same with anybody else. Your title should be unique. Like if a group of people is working on air pollution, then everybody had to produce the unique report. It's not like that. Maybe you can you can download the same 20 papers, but the fact is that your language, your presentation should be different from your friend. Okay, and you cannot, copy from any document, or you have to write whatever you need to present in your own language. You cannot copy from any journal and any books or anywhere. The language must be yours. Otherwise, it will be detected by a software like Turnitin. Will be Turnitin. So, originality of the project submitted is very much needed, and I will be requesting your, class representative to collect all the titles and the name of the students they want to work with. Now ask me if you have any question regarding that, and also consult with the rest of the students in your class. Like mechanical, you have other students, and the computer system.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, and
Ma'am,
also yeah.
if
Ma'am,
we
will you
if we
provide a
if we
sample?
make if we make the group of
एक एक करके बताओ.
ma'am, if we make the group of five students, ma'am, if we
हाँ.
make the group of five students each, then ma'am the when only the topic will be the same of the five students,
Yes, like
not
the topic will be
the
the same. Like
means
air
not
pollution देखो, air pollution जैसे consider करो कि
means
मैंने 20
can't we
students.
can't we divide the
Sorry.
can't we divide that project in five equal parts and we
No, that's not be
break
done.
into them,
You have to do
right?
your own project. You have. It's nothing. It's just now you don't have to go anywhere else and collect data. You just need to download the paper, read it, and make a report. You
Ma'am,
understand?
can you provide us sample?
Maybe ask your seniors. Na? You have you have your group. You have your own group. Like here, only 25 students from mechanical, 25 students of computer and information technologies here. You have other rest of your students
Ma'am,
who
you
will.
will be giving us topics. Out of those topics, we need to choose.
No, I'm not going to give any topic. It will be, there will be a relaxation of yours. Like you will be choosing your own topic, and I will be telling you like maybe you have like 75 students, so maybe we can divide you in both the groups, and maybe one of the group will be writing on polymer, something on polymer. Maybe another group can write a project on fuel or combustion, and
And we need
another
to
group.
choose topics from syllabus.
Yes, you need to choose topic and like its effect, its impact. You know, you understand what I'm trying to say? Maybe it will be better for all of you to ask Penta sir. We have a class of that sir, Penta sir next week, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so ask Penta sir or Nariman madam. So how to do that? It will be better because they can suggest better. And I just informed you about this thing, so you need to start thinking about that. Yes, yes, yes. You can ask. You can ask. A lot of people are raising hands. Tell me what you want to know. I only received 59 attendance. Okay, but the students were like 66. So you all haven't give attendance. Please give your attendance. It's already. Do you have any other questions regarding this?
मैम सबमिशन डेट क्या है मैम?
क्या क्या बोलो?
सबमिशन
सुनाई
डेट
नहीं दे रहा
ऑफ
है,
द
बोलो।
प्रोजेक्ट. सबमिशन डेट ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट.
इसमें है ना तुम्हारे वो दिया हुआ है ना, लिस्ट दिया हुआ है ना, जिसमें फर्स्ट एमसीक्यू कब होगा, सेकंड एमसीक्यू कब होगा। मेरे पास वो डाउनलोड किया, आई मीन प्रिंट आउट किया नहीं है मैंने। तो होना चाहिए तुम लोगों के पास, किसी न किसी के पास तो होना चाहिए, है ना? किसी के पास तो होगा ही वो। देखो उसका कुछ डेट है, मुझे जितना याद है अप्रैल या मई में होगा। ठीक है, एक बार मुझे देखने दो, रुको, मैं बताती हूँ।
8 अप्रैल.
देखो ना तुम लोगों के पास है, हमारे दोस्त वगैरह जो है उन लोगों के पास होना चाहिए। किसी के पास नहीं है?
मैम इट्स अप्रैल 8.
अप्रैल 8। तो तुम्हारे पास ऑलरेडी जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च, तीन, you have 3 months, and in these 3 months you can think about your project and write, but you need to tell us that ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि तुम अभी बोल रहे हो कि मैं एयर पोल्यूशन में सबमिट करने वाला हूँ, फिर अप्रैल में जब सबमिट किया तो मैंने देखा किसी से कॉपी करके सबमिट कर दिया तो दोनों का टाइटल एक हो गया। तो ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए। 75 स्टूडेंट का टाइटल यूनिक होना चाहिए, और अकॉर्डिंगली their what you said, their I mean materials of the language and everything should be unique, because we have a software, it is named as Turnitin. So from that software we can upload your project, and we can
Ma'am, how much plagiarism is
sorry
allowed? Ma'am,
sorry
how much plagiarism is allowed?
how much
Plagiarism is allowed.
what
How much
Ma'am, like
plagiarism
in
is allowed, ma'am?
maybe 10%.
okay.
Okay, so it's not, don't I mean you I think you all know the plagiarism, so I don't need to say that. And another thing is that there is tomorrow there is a not tomorrow, 12th of January there is a course from Oxford University regarding citation. Please attend that, so that you will be understanding that how to do citation, and like whatever from wherever you are trying to read, trying to write the paper or the ground paper, you need to cite that. So the importance of citation and the style of citation um, will be discussed there, like every chemical society, like Royal Society of Chemistry or the American Chemical Society of Chemistry. So they have their own style of presenting, so we need to learn about that. So I will be sharing you or forwarding you the email and the link, so please attend that, then you will have a clear idea regarding the citation. Okay, and if possible, uh, I will be asking the CR of your class to send me all the names and the phone numbers, email ID, and along with the roll numbers. So I will be sharing the file what you have sent today, and please send me that before your MCQ exam.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So I am actually leaving now. Okay, I'm leaving the call. And also ask Painter sir regarding this term paper. Okay. And I
Okay, ma'am.
think, okay, so I can share you a format, but not the project of the previous year. I can upload that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.